Remember that feeling when you first launched your business? That buzz, that energy, that momentum. And now, it feels like you're wading through concrete. The phone's a little too quiet, sales are flatlining, and you're stuck asking, what went wrong? And more importantly, how do I fix this? You're working harder than ever. But it just feels like you're spinning your wheels. If that hits a little too close to home, trust me, you are not alone. Every business on the planet hits a plateau. It's not a sign you failed. It's a signal that the playbook that got you here is officially expired. The biggest mistake you can make right now is to either panic and start changing things at random, or worse, just grind harder using the same old tactics. That's like trying to fix a leaky boat with a screen door. In this video, I'm going to give you a straightforward, step-by-step framework you can use, no matter what industry you're in, to figure out what's really broken, and more importantly, how to fix it for good. We're moving past the fluffy, generic advice to build a real action plan and get you back on track. Step 1. Diagnose the core problem. First things first, you have to stop guessing and start diagnosing. Most turnarounds fail because the owner is treating a cough when the patient has a broken leg. A dip in cash flow isn't the problem, it's a symptom. The real disease might be a broken sales process, a pricing model that makes no sense, or a product that just doesn't excite people anymore. To get to the real issue, you need to play detective and ask 3 critical questions. First, is there still urgent demand for what you're selling? Markets change, customers move on, and competitors pop up. The killer offer you had 2 years ago might be irrelevant today. Don't assume you know. Dig into your data, sure, but more importantly, get on the phone and talk to your customers and your former customers. Why are they leaving? Are you still solving the right problem for the right people? Second, do you have a sustainable differentiation? In other words, what really makes you special? If you can't clearly explain why someone should pick you over all the other options without immediately mentioning your price, then you're just in a race to the bottom, and no small business ever wins that race. This isn't just about having a great product. It could be your unique process, your amazing service, or the specific expertise only you bring to the table. And third, can you deliver what you do at a reasonable margin? Profit isn't a happy accident. It's the fuel for your business's survival and growth. I've seen so many business owners who are shocked to find out their best-selling product is actually losing them money. You have to know your numbers, inside and out. If your margins are paper-thin, you can't afford to invest in marketing, talent, or new ideas, and the business just starves. Your first action item is to answer these 3 questions with brutal honesty. If you find out the demand just isn't there anymore, or you have no unique edge, you might need a bigger pivot. Research shows that only about 20–30% of turnarounds succeed without seriously rethinking the core business model. This diagnosis is the single most important step. Don't you dare skip it. Step 2. Audit and reallocate your resources. Once you have a clear diagnosis, it's time for triage. You have to stop the bleeding and reallocate your resources. In a struggling business, I can practically guarantee that your most precious assets, your time, your money, and your team's focus, are being wasted on things that don't move the needle. Let's start with your wallet. Print out your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements and go through them line by line. I mean it. Every single expense gets sorted into one of 3 buckets: essential, optimizable, or wasteful. Essentials are your must-haves, like rent or core software. Optimizable items are things you need, but could probably get cheaper, like by renegotiating with a supplier. And wasteful expenses are the things you cut immediately: forgotten subscriptions, unused tools, you know the drill. Most businesses can slash 15–25% of their expenses without even touching their core operations. But this isn't just about saving money. Every dollar you free up is fuel. It needs to be immediately reinvested into the areas you identified in step 1, the things that will actually drive growth. Next, you're going to audit your time. For 1 week, you and your team need to track where every hour goes. Where are the bottlenecks? Where are you losing entire afternoons to messy processes or meetings that should have been an email? Often, the fixes are surprisingly simple. For instance, you could create reusable project templates instead of starting from scratch every time. Or you could implement a communication framework to stop the constant pings and notifications. One great tool is the CARS framework. That's context, attempts, request, and stakes. It forces everyone to be crystal clear and saves hours of back and forth. The whole point here is to shift your mindset from doing more to doing the right things by auditing and redirecting your money and your time. You create the fuel and the focus you absolutely need to pull off this turnaround. Quick pause if you're watching this and realizing your business feels stuck. That already puts you ahead of most people. Most people never stop to fix the real problem, they just keep pushing harder. So if you want more breakdowns like this, real strategies, not hype, hit subscribe right now. It helps you and it tells me to keep making content like this. Now, let's get back to the framework. Step 3. Evaluate and optimize your people and structure. Here's a hard truth. A business can't outgrow its people. If things have stalled, you have to take a hard look at your team and your company structure. You need the right people in the right seats, all pulling in the same direction. Start by evaluating your talent. High performers aren't just a little better. Studies show they can be 400% to 800% more productive than an average employee. In a small business, a single A player can literally change your company's future, while one underperformer or someone with a toxic attitude can drag everyone else down. Where are the skills gaps on your team? Do you have the marketing or sales chops you need for the next level? Sometimes the person who was perfect for the chaotic startup phase just isn't the right fit for a more structured environment. I know this part can be painful, especially when your team feels like family. But keeping the wrong person in a critical role isn't fair to them, to the business, or to the rest of the team who has to pick up the slack. Next, look at your organizational structure. That informal, everyone does everything approach that worked when you were starting out, it eventually devolves into chaos and frustration. And let's be honest, the bottleneck is often the founder. If every single decision has to go through you, your business can never grow beyond you. Your job as the leader is to build systems and empower your team to make decisions without you. And if you're a solopreneur, don't you dare skip this step. This is about creating structure for yourself. You can implement a decision-making framework to stop overthinking everything. A simple rule of thumb: move fast on decisions that are easily reversible, like trying a new piece of software, and move slowly on decisions that are hard to undo, like signing a 5-year lease. Your action item is to draw an organizational chart, even if it's just for you. Define clear roles and responsibilities. Figure out who owns what. This simple act of creating clarity is often the key to unlocking your team's true potential and freeing you up to work on the business, not just in it. Step 4. Refine your product, strategy, and customer focus. Okay, with a clear diagnosis and your resources lined up, it's time to reignite the engine of your business, your strategy, and your offer. A business that isn't growing has usually lost sight of its customers or is running on an outdated game plan. First, let's revisit your product or service. I want you to stop thinking about features and start thinking in terms of the job to be done. What specific job are your customers hiring your product to do? Think about it. People don't buy a drill because they want a drill. They buy it because they want a quarter-inch hole in their wall. This framework forces you to obsess over the customer's desired outcome, which is all they actually care about. Has that outcome changed? Are there better ways to deliver it? Sometimes a simple tweak, like offering a faster delivery time or adding a layer of personal support, is all it takes to get people excited again. Next, you need to sharpen your customer focus. So many struggling businesses try to be everything to everyone, and they end up being nothing special to anyone. Go through your customer list and find your most profitable segment. Who are the clients who love your work, are a joy to deal with, and happily pay your full rate? Double down on them. Refine your marketing to speak their language directly to their pain points. Stop wasting time and money chasing low-profit customers who drain your energy. It's also absolutely critical to diversify where your leads come from. If 90% of your business comes from one place, your one algorithm change away from disaster. Explore other channels to build a more resilient business. Finally, you have to update your long-term strategy. What worked in the launch phase is probably holding you back now. Growth requires a new map. Set clear goals for the next 90 days and the next 1 to 3 years, and use a simple system to test your new ideas. Instead of spending 6 months building out a new service, create a small, minimum viable version and test it with a handful of customers. The only validation that matters is a credit card swipe, not just someone saying, "Yeah, that's a cool idea." Your action item is to write a new, simple strategic plan. It doesn't need to be a 50-page document. It just needs to clearly state who your ideal customer is, what unique value you give them, and the top 3-5 things you'll focus on for the next 90 days to get the ball rolling. So let's recap the framework. When your business slows down, don't panic and don't just work harder. Get systematic. First, diagnose the core problem. Find the root cause by looking at demand, differentiation, and your profit margins. Second, audit and reallocate your resources. Stop the leaks and point your time and money at actual growth opportunities. Third, evaluate and optimize your people and structure. Make sure you have the right team and the right systems in place. And fourth, refine your product, strategy, and customer focus. Fall back in love with your ideal customer and build a clear plan to serve them better than anyone else. Fixing a slow business isn't about finding one magic fix. It's about following a clear process and making smart decisions that build momentum over time. Every small improvement compounds, and before you know it, your business starts moving forward again. The important thing is to start today. Take one idea from this video and apply it, whether it's fixing your pricing, focusing on the right customers, or tightening up your systems. Progress starts the moment you act. If this helped you see things more clearly, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. Now go take that first step.